everyone, my name is Christine from these Succulent Buddies.
Hi everyone, my name is Chanel.
And that's my daughter that loves succulents as much as I do. Today we're going to be doing some leaf propagations. I'm going to teach you how to do that step by step, but first let me propagate string of hearts cuttings that I took from my mother plant because she's grown. If you guys want to see how I propagate my string of hearts and which methods work best for me, please refer to episode number, I forgot, but I will have it on the screen for you. That's it. That's how I propagate my string of hearts. That's actually my #1 method. If you want to see the results and how this works, please refer to the episode that I put on the screen for you. So in this episode, guys, it's going to be all about succulent leaf propagation. We're going to be propagating these 2 different types of graptopetalums for you. The reason why I chose them is because they grow really well from leaf, and then I also have some leaves that I've already propagated from them that are in different stages of growth. This way I can show you guys what to expect and how to care for them in each stage of growth so that you can grow them nice and beautifully like I did here. For these 2 types of graptopetalums here, I started with one mother plant, and everything else that you see are mostly leaf propagations and also some stem beheadings. But we're not going to be doing beheadings today. We're just going to focus on succulent leaf propagation, and let me show you. So this right here, guys, is called a Graptopetalum Purple Delight, one of the easiest succulents that I own. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to propagate her from leaf. The best way to propagate succulents from leaf, guys, is to get a healthy leaf from the bottom. I usually make sure that my succulents have just been watered about 3 days prior. That way the leaves are nice and full. They could be more successful for leaf propagation. So you just take the most bottom healthy leaf like this, and you simply twist slowly, and there you go. That right there, guys, that is a clean cut. If you have anything broken, if any of this bottom part breaks off, that means that the leaf most likely will not propagate for you. But you want to make sure that your cuts are always clean, just like this. So let me go ahead and take off some more so I can show you. Like I said, there you go. Just simple. Just give it a little bit of a twist. I like to take the bottom leaves because, you know, it won't really make a difference in the form of the succulent. And then if you do have this Graptopetalum Purple Delight in particular, leaf propagations grow just as well as when I propagate them by beheading, and then, you know, for them to grow new babies on the stem. So it shouldn't take as much time as other succulents that you grow from leaf. And then this one right here, as you can see, is actually kind of long. So let me go ahead and take a bottom leaf from there again. I'm not going to take too much, although I did take a lot already, but just for the sake of showing you guys how to do it, there you go. Those are all healthy cuts. This one right here, guys, this is called a Graptopetalum Superbum. Actually, this one over here is a Graptopetalum Purple Delight that I grew from leaf, and I put her in the wrong pot. So there's a side-by-side comparison. They look very similar, except the leaf shape is a little bit different. They both grow really quickly for me outdoors. Indoors, not so much, but they both propagate really well from leaf, and I'm going to take some leaves from our Graptopetalum Superbum. These little ones that you see over here, this right here, these 2 are stem propagations, and then so are these 2, and then the rest of them, guys, these are just leaf propagations. So let's go ahead and take some bottom leaves. Same thing that I did with the other succulent, guys. Just simply gently twist the leaf off and make sure you get a clean cut for successful leaf propagation. Try to take the most bottom leaves so that it doesn't really ruin the form, and then the bottom leaves are usually bigger than the small ones anyway, so you have a better chance at a successful leaf propagation. Something happened outdoors, guys, when I had this. So this is like a combination of sunburn, you see those marks that you see, and oedema, because when it was raining a lot, the succulent leaves, when they get too much water, if they don't get like translucent and watery and squishy, sometimes they'll kind of crack a little bit because they had gotten a little bit too much water, and that is what is called oedema. That is normally what it looks like. So it cracked a little bit, and then it got sunburned. I didn't slowly acclimate them to sunlight after bringing them in from indoors under my lights, and that is what happened. But that's okay because it will recover. I'll take more leaves from this particular one because it's not very nice anymore anyway, but you know, eventually it will grow out of that. Here are all the leaves that I've collected from our graptopetalums, and now what we're gonna do is we're going to simply put them on top of very dry and well-draining soil. If you guys are growing these outdoors, you're gonna want your containers to have drainage holes in the bottom, but I am growing them under my lights, and my lights tend to dry them up pretty quickly, so I'm not gonna put drainage holes. It is completely up to you, but if you are a beginner, you definitely should. I'm just lining up the leaves like this, simply. The less you mess with leaf propagation, guys, the better they actually are. So when you do this, you basically just want to leave it alone. Don't spritz, don't water, don't do anything until the mother leaf dries off if you are growing them outdoors. Now, if you are growing them indoors under lights like me, you're gonna need to leave them alone for a little bit. Wait until there's babies growing. And when these mother leaves right here, when they start to look a little bit wrinkly or they're like halfway drying out already, then you can go ahead and spritz the soil if you want to. That's what I would normally do, just to preserve the mother leaves, but not too much, because then it could absorb too much water and these leaves will then turn yellow and translucent, and you don't want that to happen. But for the first couple of weeks, about 3 to 4 weeks or so, you're just going to want to totally leave this tray alone, and babies will slowly start growing out of those leaves for you, especially with these succulents. You're almost always 90% guaranteed that it will produce a baby. So I grow these leaf propagations under my grow lights. So the soil dries up very quickly under my lights. If you have your leaf propagations outside, when they're still like this, where the leaf is still attached to the babies, they don't need any water at all. But if they're indoors, you could spray them a little bit, or you could not water them. Either way, it'll work. As soon as your babies, like this one, this is a Graptovaria Douglas hut. You see how the mother leaf has already dried off and pretty much died. This is the time when you want to water your succulent leaf propagations, because you need to keep the babies hydrated, and they dry up very quickly if you don't water them at all. So this Echeveria subsessilis, the fat ones like this is a Graptopetalum Purple Delight. If they're really fat like this, guys, you don't necessarily need to water them unless you see that the leaves are getting a little bit wrinkly. But for the most part, when your succulents lose their mother leaves like these guys, they will need a little bit of water every few days. So here's how we water them. Okay, so this is how I water the ones whose mother leaves have dried off. You just kind of want to water around the baby so that you hydrate the roots a little bit, and then same thing over here. You can see controlled watering, not too much water, okay guys? Just enough to moisten that soil a little bit, but you don't want to completely saturate it. That is a Fred Ives one right there. And then another subsessilis here, Fred Ives, like so. So I have them all in the same tray. And there you go. That should be enough. And then for these guys here, because the mother leaves are still alive and actually pretty firm, you don't even have to water them at all if they're grown outdoors. Now, if they're grown under lights like mine, my soil, like I said, dries up very quickly. You don't have to water it. It's up to you. Or you could simply spray a little bit like this. Okay? Not too much water. Just like I said, not too much water, just enough to moisten the soil and moisten those roots a little bit. So guys, aside from putting them on a tray of soil, the best way of propagating leaves for me that works all the time is to simply put those leaves that you took off your plant and go ahead and, like this one right here, this was taken off of one of these plants right here. You simply put it on top of the soil like that if you are growing them outdoors or indoors. And they require no care at all. They will just grow on their own, just like these ones here did. This, you can see the baby is growing nicely. And then those over there are also all leaf propagations. There's actually there's four there. And then this one right here was also grown from leaf. And then I have a random hitchhiker over here. I don't even know what succulent this is, but it got mixed in the pot. It's definitely not a purple delight. This is the best method because it requires no care. This is out in the sun, rain and shine, and they grow the fastest this way, guys, honestly. And then here, guys, let's take a look at inside our super bum pot. I have a lot of babies here. Some are stem babies, but this one right here was a leaf propagation. I do not know how old it is. And then these are, so that one right back there, I'm so sorry. This one right here was also a leaf propagation, and it grew perfectly in the pot. This one is actually already pretty big. The purple delights do grow a lot faster than the super bums, but this is a purple delight that I have grown from leaf, and at this point it's actually, you know, almost, it's mature enough for me to go ahead and behead the stem so that this stem right here can also start growing new babies. And that's how I propagate and multiply these guys. But these stem babies right here, guys, the leaf propagation over here and the stem babies, I took it off of the stem and I cut off the mother plant off of that the same time that I put this on top of the soil. So look, they are pretty much, there you go, side by side, growing at the same rate. The stem baby is a little bit bigger because it does have a better root system, but it's not much of a difference compared to the leaf propagation that we have there. Then of course you also have the choice of putting them in their own pot like this. They do tend to grow it a little bit slower when they're growing by themselves like this, I noticed, guys, compared to being under the mother plants. I think it's because I don't water it as much because I'm afraid to overwater them. These are purple delight babies right here, grown from leaf. This one I beheaded already because it was quite big. And yeah, there they are. Just for some more examples of leaf propagation, this is a Greptivaria fredives I propagated from leaf. This was from a single leaf, guys. Look at how many babies it gave me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 babies from one single leaf. Look at that. This is from Douglas Hut. I believe it was from 2 different leaves, but look at all of that. This is also a Greptivaria fredives leaf propagation from one leaf. It is a little bit older, of course. It is a lot older than those, and it's grown quite a long stem, so I could either let it hang like this and keep letting it grow, but I would rather behead it so that this stem right here can start growing more babies for me and give me more fredives. And as promised, I told you guys I have different succulents that I propagated from leaf in different stages. These are more or less about a year old, and this is how big they've gotten. This was a leaf propagation right here, and it's matured quite a lot since then. I lost half of the leaves, you notice, because it has given me a bunch of new babies under there. Look at all those babies. This was from a single leaf right here, and then here's another small one that is slowly growing. I'm sorry, I forgot the ID of this one. But here's another one that's pretty much, I think this is over a year old. From one single leaf, it gave me 2 babies, and they are growing quite well now. As they grow, in the beginning, they grow really slowly, guys. But when they get to this stage right here, or like right here, that's when they start to grow a little bit faster. And I believe this one is also starting to pop. So, you know, growing succulents from leaf, it takes a while, but it is very rewarding. Like I said, these are a year old, so if you guys want to propagate your succulents from leaf, just follow the instructions that I gave you. You do not have to deep water them until they get to this stage. I simply moisten the roots whenever they do need water, and then when they get to about this big, then that's when you go ahead and bottom water so those roots can develop further more into the soil. You could also transfer them as they grow into different sizes of pots, but just make sure that the pots are not too big because you don't want to overwater them in their soil. So there you go, guys. So I hope this video helped you guys somehow. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like the video. Again, this is Christine from These Succulent Biddies. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.
Bye.